Magician! Hey YouTube, DarkMagician84 here, and welcome to another top 5 video. Now unfortunately there's no minor league tournament on tonight because Jack and Reese aren't well and Kel and Harrison can't make it, which sucks because despite what happened last week I was actually looking forward to playing tonight. Oh well. So here's a top 5 video instead, and it is for the top 5 wrong rulings that I've been given. Now this is something I was planning on doing for a while, but never got round to it until now. But yeah, everyone hates being given a wrong ruling. Actually, I don't know why I didn't mention it when I did that video on the Team Sorcerers channel last year, titled Hate Losing or the Way You Lose. Now even though this hasn't happened for a while, I hate losing due to a wrong ruling. Because yeah, they cause illegal game states and you know, in worst case scenario, players end up winning games that they shouldn't even win. Now, I know we all make mistakes, like even judges, but all the same, wrong rulings just shouldn't happen. Yeah. But yeah, even though this hasn't happened to me personally for a while, here are the 5 that stuck out the most for me in all the years that I've been playing. Number 5, Quick Draw Synchron and Gladiator Beast War Chariot. Now, this dates back to a tournament that I played in early 2010 when I played my Yusei Fudo Turbo deck in a tournament. I didn't do very well, unfortunately, but one of my losses was against Gladiator Beasts. Now, what happened was, I special summoned Quick Draw Synchron through its own way, and the opponent tried to stop it with War Chariot, but I was like, wait, I don't think you can, because I'm not activating an effect, I'm just summoning. And then this judge came over and told us that Chariot does work, which was annoying. But then I found out sometime later that Chariot actually wouldn't have worked because it's not an effect activating, it's an inherent special summon. Yeah, that kind of pissed me off afterwards because that could have maybe changed everything. I mean, although I guess Chariot could have stopped the effect of whatever Synchro monster I was trying to bring out at the time. Like, I can't even remember what I was going for. It's been so long ago, as I'm sure you'll appreciate. So, it's hard to say if it would have made a difference, but still annoying though. That's all there is. Number 4, Monster Reborn and Dark Armed Dragon. Now this dates back to a match, a top 8 match actually, that I had during Dark Return format, very early on. So I was playing Dark Magician and my opponent was playing Dark Return, and it went to a 3rd game, and I was doing well in the 3rd game actually. I had good board presence, and then my opponent tried to activate Monster Reborn and bring back Dark Armed Dragon, but I told him that he couldn't, but he said he could, and I was trying to tell him that he can't do that because Dark Armed Dragon is a Nomi, and Nomis cannot be special summoned from the graveyard, even if you properly summoned them first. But he was telling me that he could, because it was summoned properly, and then the judge agreed with him and said, yeah, he's right, he can do that. And then I proceeded to lose the match. But I was still pretty sure that that wasn't right. Like, there was just no way. So, sometime afterwards at home, I went to find some rulings online. Eventually I found Dark Arm Dragon rulings, and of course it turned out that I was right. Like, Dark Arm Dragon, like I said, cannot be special summoned from the graveyard, even if you properly summon it first. Oh, that was so annoying. I could have probably won that top 8 match and went on to top 4. But considering it was the best deck of the formats, who knows if it would have made a difference. If it didn't, then nothing changes. If it did, I could have beaten the best deck of the format with my favourite deck and made top 4. Other than that, I wasn't too mad, because, to be fair, at least I topped, and I'd already won 2 tournaments with Dark Magician anyway at that point. But it was still annoying being given a wrong ruling. Number 3, Lumina and Book of Moon. Now this dates back to a tournament game I had in July 2009 when I was playing Dark Magic Swarm. Unfortunately, this was one of many where I scrubbed out. It was the second time I played it in a tournament, and I won the first match, no problems, and then I lost against Dark World, and then, rather annoyingly, I went up against Gladiator Beasts, which of course I just never want to play against anyway. So, yeah, the opponent won the first game and was winning the second game, but I had a way to turn things around in my favour and maybe even win game 2 and take it to game 3. Now, I can't remember the full play, but I know it did involve Lumina. So what happened was, I normal summoned Lumina, activated her effect, the opponent chains Book of Moon to flip her face down, and then told me that her effect fizzles, and I'm like, no it doesn't, it still goes through. And then he tried to tell me that it fizzles because it's no longer face up, and then these other guys who are meant to be pro players were saying, no, yeah, he's right, it does fizzle. Maybe I should have called a judge, but the problem was I was that naive that because they were pro players, they might be right, so I just didn't think to question it, even though I probably should have, and that just royally screwed me over, and I lost the match. And then, as soon as I got home again, I went online again to look for rulings for Lumina, found them, and then of course, again, it turns out that I was right. Because the ruling said that if you activate Lumina's effect, and something is activated that either removes Lumina from the field, or flips her face down, the effect still goes off, which means I could have still done the play that I was trying to do, turn things around, and then maybe take it to a third game. But, yeah, I just lost a game that I shouldn't have lost. I'm so pissed off about that, or was. And this guy was supposed to be a judge himself. Yeah, this person just can't give a correct ruling to save his life. And it was kind of shocking that these pro players gave me a wrong ruling as well. So either they didn't know the ruling either, or maybe they just lied to me just to see me lose. I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't happy about that. I mean, if he did win game 3, it wouldn't have made a difference, but if I did win the match, then my matchups afterwards could have been different, and maybe I still could have topped. But who knows? Number 2, Crystal Beasts and the Back Row. Now, this also dates back to the summer of 2009, and this wasn't a game that I was in, but it was one that I filmed between my friends Timby and Seb. So Timby was playing Crystal Beasts, and Seb was playing Zombie Monarch, and Timby won. And there was, of course, a point where a face-down Emerald Tortoise was attacked, so it flipped up, then went to the back row, which is all fine, but then this one guy in the comments said that he couldn't do that, because a Crystal Beast needs to be face up in order to be destroyed and sent to the back row, which then basically implied that the effects to go to the back row don't work if they're destroyed by battle. And then for about a year and a half, that's what I assumed. And like when I'd see other people play Crystal Beasts and the same thing would happen, I would just assume that they were doing it wrong, when in actuality they weren't, and in turn I was giving wrong rulings. But yeah, it wasn't until like the spring of 2011 that that I was basically corrected, and the actual ruling of how this works was given to me. Although it was a bit too late, because in February that year I played my own Crystal Beast deck in a tournament and lost all my games, and struggled a lot because of this wrong ruling that I was given. So it was just like, how am I supposed to put them in the back row very easily? So anyway, the actual ruling was given to me, whereas when a face-down Crystal Beast monster is attacked, the battle will flip it face up, and then it can be put into the back row. I couldn't believe that I was given a wrong ruling based on that. That was so annoying. So I was sort of playing them wrong this whole time. I gave maybe 2 people the same wrong ruling, and I did badly in that tournament for no reason. So I gave them another chance in another tournament and did a bit better, only winning 2 out of 5 matches, but still better than the time before. Yeah, that just really pissed me off. And ironically, the one who gave me this wrong ruling would be someone who'd keep pointing out game state mistakes in my duel videos. And then he goes and tells me a wrong ruling. Yeah, there's not enough words to describe how annoying that was. See, this is basically why, whenever someone points out a game state mistake, or or so it seems, or gives me a ruling in the comments of my duel videos, I'm initially hesitant to believe them. So what I then do is try and look up the ruling myself and ask my friends who are judges just to confirm whether this is true or not. And I would even go and ask them, where did you get this ruling? So yeah, I always do a thorough check. I mean, no disrespect to those who give rulings and point out mistakes or supposed mistakes, but you know, after being given that wrong ruling about crystal beasts, you can't really blame me for being hesitant to believe you. But yeah, at least I'm more careful now. And finally, the number one most annoying wrong ruling that I was given was in regards to Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell and Royal Decree. Now, this dates back to the start of 2008, when I made top 2 with Elemental Heroes for the first time ever, and was unfortunately up against Nurseburn. So I lost game 1, and I sided for game 2, and managed to see a sided card, which was Royal Decree. And then something rather annoying happened. I activated Polymerization while Decree was still face up, by the way, and the opponent activates Curse Seal to stop it, and I'm like, you can't, I have Royal Decree on the field. And he said, it doesn't stop counter traps. Yeah, that didn't make much sense to me. I mean, maybe I should have checked, but I just went along with it, because again, this guy was a pro player, and I assumed he just knew what he was talking about. And that actually screwed me over, and I ultimately lose the duel because of that, and the match. However, I then found out later that Decree actually would have stopped Curse Seal. You see, while Royal Decree can't negate the activation of a counter trap, because counter traps are too quick, if Decree is already on the field, it can still negate their effects. You know, if a counter trap attempts to activate, which means that the polymerization would not have been negated, and I would have been in a much stronger position, and I could have maybe won game 2. But as for how game 3 would have gone, well, who knows? I mean, if he won the match, wouldn't have made a difference, but if I won the match, then I would have been the very first person in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! To win a tournament with Elemental Heroes. But I just got denied that honour, all because of this stupid wrong ruling that I got given. It was so frustrating. Of course, despite all this, it did inspire me to try and win a tournament with Elemental Heroes, which I did do eventually. But I probably could have won one a lot sooner if it wasn't for that damn wrong ruling. So yeah, anyway, that's my list for the top 5 wrong rulings that I got given. But what about you guys? What are the most infuriating wrong rulings that you have been given? Let me know in the comments section down below. Maybe we can compare stories. And on that note, I will catch you guys later. See ya. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Dark Magician YouTube channel.